The Nigerian Civil War, also known as the Biafran War, was one of the most devastating conflicts in Africa's modern history. Fought between 1967 and 1970, the war claimed an estimated 1 to 3 million lives, with many people dying not from bullets, but from starvation and disease. But what really caused this tragic conflict? To understand the war, we must first go back to Nigeria's independence in 1960. The country brought together hundreds of ethnic groups under one government, with the three largest being the Hausa Fulani in the north, the Yoruba in the west, and the Igbo in the east. Although they were now one nation, deep political, cultural, and regional differences remained. Competition for political power, control of government, and access to resources created growing tensions among the regions. The situation worsened in January 1966, when a group of young military officers staged Nigeria's first military coup. The coup resulted in the deaths of several prominent political leaders, many of whom were from the northern and western regions. Although the coup leaders came from different backgrounds, many Nigerians believed it favored the Igbo because the new military leader, Johnson Agui Ironsi, was Igbo. These suspicions fueled anger across the north. Just 6 months later, in July 1966, northern military officers carried out a counter-coup. General Yakubu Gowon emerged as the new head of state, while Ironsi was killed. Following the counter-coup, widespread violence broke out against Igbo civilians living in northern Nigeria. Thousands were killed, many more were injured, and countless families fled back to the eastern region in fear for their lives. As tensions escalated, leaders from both sides met in Ghana in early 1967 to negotiate a peaceful solution. These discussions, known as the Abari Accord, raised hopes that Nigeria's crisis could be resolved. However, disagreements over how the agreement should be implemented caused the talks to collapse. Trust between the federal government and the eastern region continued to deteriorate. At the same time, another issue intensified the conflict: oil. Large oil reserves had been discovered in the eastern region, particularly in the Niger Delta. Control of these valuable resources became an important economic and political concern for both the federal government and Eastern leaders, believing that the safety and future of the Igbo people could no longer be guaranteed within Nigeria. The military governor of the Eastern region, Chukwemeka Oyukwu, declared the Eastern region an independent nation called the Republic of Biafra on May 30th, 1967. The federal government rejected the declaration, insisting that Nigeria must remain one united country. On July 6, 1967, military operations began, marking the start of the Nigerian Civil War. The conflict quickly spread across the country. Fierce battles were fought on land, while a federal blockade severely restricted food and medical supplies from reaching Biafra. Images of starving children shocked the world and drew international attention to the humanitarian crisis. Although several countries provided humanitarian aid, the suffering remained immense. After nearly 3 years of fighting, Biafra's military resistance collapsed. In January 1970, Biafra surrendered, bringing the war to an end. The federal government announced a policy of no victor, no vanquished, aiming to promote reconciliation and rebuild the nation. Even so, many communities continued to deal with the emotional, economic, and political consequences of the war for decades. The Nigerian Civil War was not caused by a single disagreement. It was the result of political instability, ethnic tensions, military coups, violence against civilians, failed peace negotiations, disputes over power and resources, and the struggle to define the future of a newly independent nation. Its legacy continues to shape conversations about unity, justice, and national identity in Nigeria today. That will be all for now. If you learned something from this video, why not like, comment, and share this video? Also follow for more.